right. Gonna do it right. 3.
That Buckeye on 1. That was the 2-minute drill.
Oh, that's why he was... Okay, wrong sounder. That's what it is.
Were we live?
Yep. and the intro video is playing, but I don't have any audio for it, and it's not in my thing here.
Are we still live?
Yep, we're still live.
All right.
He'll just get Justin singing an Encanto song or something.
Video's done.
It's the
That was
family,
a hard
Martinez.
He hands the ball up the middle. Tebow!
Oh, it's on fire right now. It's
Dominating
Dominating. Wait, are we just going now? Or is the intro video still playing?
No, the video's over. I told you when the video was over.
I wasn't paying attention. Hello!
It's my fault.
Oh, this is the best time of year in spring sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're still playing sports at this time, then it's the best time of the year. I personally was always out of it way before this time, just waiting for Babe Ruth to start.
Babe Ruth stopped playing baseball like in the, 20s?
I was waiting a long time.
Yeah, you were. Or back in the
Long
future. Back in the
time.
past.
Back to the Future.
Anyway, this is The Scrimmage. I'm
Is
Justin
it?
Domashevitz, Daniel Hargrove here with us, and producer Andrew Gross over there pushing buttons. Wrong buttons sometimes.
The wrong
and not
buttons.
being able to get the audio to play. But that's okay.
You still got buttons.
We're going to shake it off because we got so much good local stuff to talk about. Daniel, you and I broadcasted a state playoff opener
Yes.
yesterday. We have a district championship softball game to talk about. We've got another person who broke records doing horsey things. We have someone who won 7 track titles in 6 days. There's so much stuff, and
But why not 8?
I didn't even mention the cyborg yet.
Yeah, which it's not even real. So, I mean, cyborgs are made up. So is she.
Does the general population understand what a cyborg is, or do I only know it so well because of Archer? If the cyborg is half human, half robot, or part human, part robot.
Blade Runner is a pretty popular movie.
What
there
is
was
that?
a
Wasn't there
recent one, wasn't there?
Wasn't
Blade
there
Runner, is that about
cyborgs in
cyborgs?
Star Trek?
Yeah, there's cyborgs in Star Trek as
Yeah.
well.
I think there's a
So
female
at least all the nerds out there will understand.
there's a female UFC fighter who has that nickname, maybe.
Oh, is she a cyborg though?
I don't know.
I just meant I've been saying cyborg, and then it struck me do people understand? Do they have an abstract knowledge of what it is, or
Yeah.
do they understand specifically that a cyborg is part human and part robot?
Yeah. What were we calling Jane Roloff? Wasn't it something similar?
No, it's just she never stops running, right?
Yeah, but last time you said that. I thought you gave her a cyborg. I thought you said she was a cyborg.
Oh, did I give more than one person?
That's
that
why I
nickname?
was. Yeah, that's why I was wondering
no.
about it.
This is a problem.
Yeah, because we can't have 2 cyborgs unless it's becoming a problem.
One of
in
them
female sports.
One of them could be Barry. One of them could be other Barry.
My
Sorry.
brother says that Arnold is coming for you.
What's Arnold? Oh, is it?
Arnold wasn't a cyborg though. He was
Android.
He was an android.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually not 100% up on my Terminator. I don't know if he had
He was
real
just
flesh or if it was completely fake.
It was fake. I mean, because it gets burned off of him, right? And then he's just
that would happen with
he's
real
just
flesh.
A robot. Oh, that's a good
I
point.
never saw that movie.
I don't
I
know
always
it well
assumed
enough
that
to
a
know.
cyborg was like using part of the muscles and part of the robotics, though. Whereas he was just a robot covered in flesh-like stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
in Archer,
A flesh
when someone loses a limb, the Dr. Krieger would just replace it with other limbs, robot limbs,
Yes,
and that is how they became cyborgs.
Yeah.
and that makes sense.
Yeah,
Our
that was a
Facebook
really
page-
productive conversation.
Yeah, our Facebook page has also been super active with messages, and
Yeah.
we just got another one.
What does it say?
I don't. Usually, I let you read them. My phone's loading.
Oh, I've got Evergreen 2A All League selections from Aberdeen softball. We will definitely go over that when we do our local sports roundup.
Nice. Is that what that was?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, also my messenger's not working very well because I tried to open that up and it's gone. And it's gone. See? Look at that. It's gone. It's not there. I don't know what's going on.
You
The
have to
last
use
message
the-
I got was from May 12th.
You need to download the Meta Business Suite.
I
app.
don't want to download the Meta Business Suite
The
app.
messages for the page do not work well in the regular messenger.
Ah.
Yeah.
I would say we should get it going with the 2-minute drill, but Andrew's working on my phone.
Yeah, Andrew fixes everything we don't know how to do.
Oh, wait, how did you...
Let's go, huddle up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball to ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye on 1.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
What did you do?
I didn't have time to do anything.
Well, it's
I would love to
now.
just play it off like I know what I did, but I didn't do anything.
That's hilarious. It's working now. All you need to do is touch it.
The Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers,
Wait.
and Phoenix Suns each
Justin,
fired their
I'm
head
supposed
coach
to ask you
recently.
this question.
Justin, which one
Justin.
of those... Wait, what?
I'm supposed to ask you this question.
Well, you weren't doing it.
Wow, someone's in a hurry. Which of those coaching jobs would you want, Justin? Gee, could it be the one with the league MVP on it?
All of these teams have a league MVP on them. For me, it is a no-brainer. I would want
G-League.
the Milwaukee Bucks job because Giannis. And if you go take the Philadelphia 76ers job, you don't know if you're getting James Harden back, and there's already been rumors that Embiid might also want out. If you go take the Phoenix Suns job, you have to coach Kevin Durant, which I don't think any human person should want to do. And if you have the option to go coach Giannis instead, like, go take the Bucks job. That's a good team. They're 1 year removed from 2 years removed from winning an NBA title. And I think Giannis is the kind of star you would want to coach. He supported his coach for a long time before finally admitting that he did a bad job making adjustments at the end of games. Aaron Judge made headlines with a suspicious side-eye toward his dugout during a game against the Toronto Blue Jays last week. The look was odd enough that the Blue Jays commentators actually discussed it on air. Daniel, is Judge a dirty, rotten Yankee cheater?
I mean, he is a dirty, rotten Yankee cheater. Was this dirty, rotten cheating or just something that you should get beamed for because it was sign stealing and that's technically okay because they weren't using technology? Yes, but you should still beam people for that because, hey, look at the pitcher and hit the ball. Don't do weird glances to other places. Shifty eye. It was like something you would see on Family Guy or something, like something just shifting their eyes back and forth every time they talked about a monkey in the closet. Super weird. The Portland Trailblazers moved up to 3rd in the NBA draft. Justin, who should the Blazers pick? I'm just gonna make up my own question.
It was basically the spirit of the question anyway. So I was happy that the Blazers moved up to 3rd, but I was devastated, honestly, because I had already convinced myself that they were going to get up to number 1 and be able to pick Vector? Like from Despicable Me?
Yeah.
I am Vector.
Vector.
Victor was my nerd name. I forgot. What was the question I'm answering? Pick a guy.
Blazers.
It can't be Victor
I want
Wembanyama.
Scoot. I want Scoot.
This has been a disaster.
Yep.
The Seattle Seahawks schedule for the 2023 season was released on May 11th. Daniel, should we care? And why does the NFL make such a spectacle of everything?
Because they are a master of making it all NFL all the time, getting the talking points to always include NFL. No, we should not care about...
Sorry, I thought you were going to say. I thought you were done.
No,
I wasn't
that's
trying to
good. No,
interrupt
that's
you.
I mean, that 2-minute drill was so
I think
bad.
we should have a segment where we just intentionally all talk at the same time.
Yes. That 2-minute drill was so bad that in previous iterations of our show, we would have stopped and started over. Just throwing that out.
Sorry.
I mean,
It wasn't your fault.
If you are going
It was my fault.
Behind the curtain way into the past.
Yeah.
There's been 2-minute drills that we stopped like 5 or 6 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I was going to say
We took
is
ourselves a lot more seriously back then.
the thing that I don't understand, I get the schedule release, especially because bye weeks are super important and who you're playing back-to-backs and when your short weeks are and stuff like that. The thing that I don't understand, Justin, why the heck do they release the opponents you're going to play before the schedule?
Well,
Like, they're like, here's who the Seahawks are going to play next year. And it's always, they do it in like December when the season's still going.
How much of
It's
that
bizarre.
is picked out, and how
It's-
much of that is according to a formula, though?
No, virtually all of it is preset. Because
Yeah.
you
I
play
know.
everybody in your division.
They couldn't keep it secret.
You play
is the
everybody
thing.
in your... You just know who you're going
They-
to play the next year. Everybody in your
No,
division
they
twice.
release it, though.
Yeah, but they release it like it's news, but it's
exactly.
not actually news. You play everybody in your division
Yes.
twice. You play another division on rotation, so 4 other teams.
Yeah.
You play a division in the other conference on rotation.
Yeah.
And Wait, no, that's not it. Oh yeah, and then you played the other two teams that were in your in your conference that are the same place as you.
I'm impressed that you know that off the top of your
literally
head.
every game.
Okay, so I didn't know those random two ones.
You know,
but there's also that doesn't add up.
I think there's one
because there's 17.
I think now there's one more, and I don't remember how they determine which one that is. But
yeah, my assumption was always just that they didn't really have a choice because you could, as soon as the season was over, you could know who you were going to play.
Yeah, you could figure it out, but they do this big release thing, and that's the stupid thing. Releasing the schedule is actually kind of important because bye weeks are super important. That's the way I look at it. It's kind of important. Should it be blown up as much as it is now?
No.
But the thing that's dumb is when they're like, here's who they're going to play next year. And I'm like, who cares?
I honestly, with the schedule release, I could not possibly care less.
Wow.
When it comes out, I don't even give it a second glance. The only thing I would be remotely interested in is looking at it and going win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. But I could do that, most of that, when we get the opponents released.
But is the opponents also say who you're playing at home and who you're playing on the way?
No, it doesn't.
See? You're coming up. That's another reason why that makes sense. Because are you playing the good teams at their place, or are you playing the good teams at your place? That's important.
It's important because people care so much about the NFL. It in itself is such a minute thing, but it's important.
Wait, you're saying that playing the Chiefs at Arrowhead isn't as important as playing the Chiefs at CenturyLink?
I'm saying that in the grand scheme of things, the way more important thing is knowing who you're playing, and by comparison, knowing when and where you play them is less important.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't agree with that because if you're playing the good teams at their place, that's significantly harder to do.
Because the NFL is banking on people like you caring so much about that when it's really actually dumb.
Wait a second. So you think there's no such thing as home field advantage in NFL?
I didn't say that. I said it's not as important as knowing who you're playing against.
Well, it's not as important.
Yeah, it's less important. That was my point the whole time. By comparison, it's way less important. But you said
it's not way less important.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. Yeah, if you're playing Jacksonville at Jacksonville when they're the garbage team, you're like, who cares? But if you're playing the Chiefs at Arrowhead, that makes a difference than playing the Chiefs at your place, which you're like, before, one of them you're like, no shot. The other one you're like, at home, we might be able to win that game. It's that much of a difference.
Oh, were we still talking about this? Sorry. I'm having a hard time mustering up enough caring to really even argue my side.
I mean, that makes sense because you said you couldn't care less. I just think that it's silly because home field, especially for the Seahawks, is that big of a deal where they have won games that they absolutely would not have had a chance in had they been playing at the other person's stadium.
I think that the big to me, the only thing that I really pay attention to is when the bye week is and what I just blanked out on what it's called, Monday night and Sunday night games they get. Yeah. And I would argue that I trust the Seahawks on a Monday or a Sunday night more than I trust them at home.
I think they have a Giants Monday night game.
Yay.
I kind of vaguely remember seeing that.
Gross.
Yeah.
The other thing
but I don't know if it's home or away. That would make a really big difference.
So are you counting Kevin Durant as the league MVP on the Suns? Is that who's the league?
He has won a league MVP.
I know, but how long ago was that?
A long time ago.
Okay, see that when you said that I was like, that doesn't count.
Was it
I think
in
it was
the major leagues?
I think it was Oklahoma City days.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
Oh, well, you just said league MVP. And were you talking about Embiid?
No, I was talking
because he was the MVP this year, and he plays on one of those teams.
Yeah, but he's the tool bag, and everybody.
And
knows
Harden
that.
also plays on one of those teams, and he was an MVP.
He's a bigger tool,
multiple-time MVP.
Yeah, you want Giannis.
So I thought when you said that you were driving at the guy that won MVP this year, and I was like, well, no, actually, there's 4 MVPs on these teams combined, and I want the one that won it further back.
To be honest, I didn't know for sure that Embiid had, but after you said it, I was like, I guess Embiid won it, didn't he? But, I mean, come on. That guy's a giant tool. And Harden's the bigger tool, which didn't know it was possible.
Yeah.
I mean.
The rumor out there is Harden's going to go back to Houston.
Who cares? Wherever Harden goes, they're going to suck. They're going to lose. I know they're not still playing, right? The 76ers are.
All right. In sports out, right? That people care about.
They're out.
So why would anybody want Harden? Ever?
Well, what he no, I'm not going to argue on his side. I don't want him.
You can't.
No.
Stop it.
No. I want the Bucks job. I'm actually going to apply for it.
You should apply for it.
Yeah, I did think that was funny. Justin, which one of these jobs would be most appealing to you? And I was like, why would Justin care? He's not going to be in the running for it.
Isn't it interesting, though, that 3 of the last 4 NBA title-winning coaches have all now been fired?
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird.
It's really weird. And guess who's at the top of the list for all those jobs? All the other guys who just got fired from those other jobs.
That's funny.
Like they just keep recycling coaches to other teams. That's why I was pretty happy actually when Portland decided to hire a coach who had not been a failed head coach yet.
You know, it reminds me of a certain situation that I won't talk about right now.
How much do head coaches actually matter to an NBA team and how they play?
That's what I was wondering.
Like honestly.
Well, they matter more than a baseball manager does.
Really?
Baseball
in major leagues?
Yeah, baseball manager doesn't matter at all. That's a culture building guy. Basketball coaches actually have to make between game adjustments, in game adjustments.
Between the two of you, I trust Daniel's take on baseball and your take on basketball.
Okay, but last time we had
Daniel's face is telling me that you're wrong about the manager.
Last time we had this exact same conversation. Daniel was blown away by the fact that I told him that so many of these in-game decisions are made by analytics that are sent down to the front office. And I told you that because I heard an actual front office guy talking about it. Like the in-game decisions are very rarely made by the managers. They have like they preset,
have pre-game meetings.
Let me finish my sentence. They have a preset pre-game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was having trouble mustering up the care to listen to your side of the argument.
Okay. They have a full pre-game plan, and then in-game they get calls from the front office telling them, "Oh, here's how the analytics adjusted in this scenario," and that's how they make their decisions.
That's how some people make their decisions.
I think that's
still the ones
heavily dependent on the organization.
I think they
really
do it
heavily depend
everywhere.
on the organization.
That is absolutely
and everyone operates that way.
Yeah, that is absolutely
because I heard
not the case.
a guy say that.
I also heard a guy say that LeBron makes all the decisions, and when you see it on TV, he definitely is the one making the decisions.
That guy's stupid.
And coaches are the scapegoat every single time in whatever situation he's in.
That guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
My impression of the Mariners is that they base their rules or their plan really heavily on analytics, but that in the game they don't seem to adjust very quickly. I feel like it takes weeks for them to change their plan based on the analytics rather than changing things on the fly,
which would lend itself towards Justin's side of this. Also, I would say that culture is such a huge part of baseball.
Yeah, you're a culture guy. That's true.
Yeah, so if culture is what the manager does, that is still a major part of it. But I don't know what. So, Justin, can you answer this for me? Because I know I don't want to distract you from whatever you're doing. It's been kind of hard so far.
It's show related.
Yeah. Okay. What does an NBA coach do? Because every time I hear it, it's always like, oh, they didn't make the late game adjustments.
Yeah.
Yet every time I watch it, it's just the stars doing whatever they want. So what's the late game adjustments that they're making?
So
as a
number one
NBA fan, I'll answer that for you, Daniel.
Yeah, go
they
ahead.
make sure that the stars are happy.
That's what it seems. It seems like they're
a culture guy.
You definitely should trust Andrew's opinion on this over mine, just like he trusted your opinion over mine on baseball.
Well, what I see, and I admit I don't pay attention whenever the Blazers are bad.
You just asked me a question, didn't let me answer, took Andrew's answer, and then moved on. That's fine. We can do that.
I didn't take his answer. That was not what I did.
I gave my answer. I
said that's interesting because he's bringing up a culture side.
Therefore,
and then
credence.
I was going to add more substance to what I was going to ask you because what I see is generally stars in the NBA run the show more than any other sport. And so it seems like because they run the show more than any other sport, that would be the sport where the head coach matters less because the LeBrons, they have so much more power. And it seems like whenever they need a scapegoat, they never trade the player. They always get rid of the coach first. So I guess that's my question.
I will answer it the best I can, fully knowing that neither of you is going to accept my answer on this because you both hate the NBA.
Are we still talking about basketball?
Yeah, we can move on. Let's just go to the
I don't hate the. That's the other thing.
Let's just go to the next.
I
segment.
don't hate
just
the
giving you a hard
NBA.
time.
You are throwing me in with Andrew. I live and die with the Blazers before they tank the rest of the season. So I have a team that I'm super invested in and have watched their superstar deal with coaches. So would you try and explain it to me instead of just pooping all over it?
I'm sorry, Justin.
I'm see. This is where we are. Actually, is that I am bracing myself for the fact that when I answer this question, I'm going to be shouted at. So I'm going to answer this the best way that I possibly can. You can choose to accept my answer or not. The way that these things are discussed, because I listen to a crap ton of analysis of NBA basketball, and while
awful.
You're right about how it more than any other sport, NBA players have the power. I mean, especially empowerment with like where they go and who they bring in to play with them, and like stars have power over roster construction and that kind of stuff.
It seems like they also have an opinion on what coaches come in too, right?
100%. At the top level of stars, I believe that's 100% true. So the way these things are discussed, as far as analysts are concerned, is that when you get to the playoffs are a chess match of between game adjustments and in-game adjustments. So you play a game, and the reason why they always say that, hey, Team A lost by 30 points in that game, but you never know what adjustments are going to be made, because not only is the coach going to be trying to figure out what the opponent's going to do, but then they're going to try to come up with their own plan and anticipate how the other team's going to adjust as well. Sometimes the adjustments are as simple as, okay, well, 50% of the game we guarded your best player with this guy, and we had help coming from here. We're going to switch it so we put this guy on him with no help, or different like defensive schemes to do whatever. Who's guarding who? Like the Lakers did this with how they guarded Jokic. Like the difference between, it didn't, like they lost all 3 games, so it didn't matter that much in the end. But the times that they were at their best, they had a different defensive strategy. They had a different guy guarding him. Help came from a different place. Like those adjustments have to be made between games and then also in games. And that's the thing that people got all over Budenholzer about, the guy who coached the Bucks, is that you're terrible at in-game adjustments. You're terrible at making the changes and seeing what's happening in front of you in a way that you can fix it.
And that was also a big thing for, who was it, Stotts?
Yeah.
That was also a main reason why he got fired, right?
Sorry, I was reloading the
Because
playlist.
he went with the Pete Carroll method of, hey, we're down, Dame, go do everything, just like Pete Carroll would give the ball to Russ and say, hey, go win us this game. So I think when you look at guys like Eric Spoelstra, the Heat coach, he went from being a film room guy to being the guy who coached the Big Three in Miami with no respect, to now all of a sudden in basketball circles he's a top 5 coach of all time. Because while these other coaches have all been dropping off, he's been succeeding and overperforming with lesser rosters, and they say it's because he's a tactician, because he recognizes things that can be done in game. He's constantly working the whole game. He never sits down or takes a second off like some of the other coaches do when they're like, all right, I'm just going to roll the ball out and let my guys do their thing. So if you're talking about like how big of an impact NBA coaches have, I think good tactical NBA coaches have a tremendous impact on their team, especially when you get to the postseason. Regular season is probably a lot more of we're going to roll the ball out and see how it goes.
And see, that makes sense. And the thing that I didn't understand about why you were getting so upset and defensive about it is I never argued against an argument you made about how much a basketball coach makes sense. The thing that I was arguing about is you said that baseball managers do nothing.
I think they basically do,
and that is so incorrect.
They create culture in the clubhouse.
I think it's probably
which is
fair to
huge.
It matters. Yeah, it mattered a lot with the Mariners that one year when they were good.
It also matters all those
now
years where they sucked when they had Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, and they had I don't know. Also, you could even point at Lou Piniella when they had. Maybe his culture sucked, and that's why even though you had the best players at multiple different positions of their decade, and they still barely made it to the playoffs and never into the World Series. Maybe that was a Lou Piniella thing. Maybe he's not the greatest. Maybe he actually wasn't that good. And this is That's a weird take that I've never thought of before.
I was going to say, you're coming out with a strong anti-Lou
You had the best center
take.
fielder. You had Jay Buhner, who was awesome. You had Randy Johnson. And
John Olerud.
Not at the same time.
Oh.
You had Alex Rodriguez all on the same team.
Yeah. We've definitely had this conversation
Couldn't
before,
do it.
but I don't remember ever blaming it on Lou Piniella.
Exactly. But you're saying that all they do is culture.
But
back in Lou Piniella's day, he actually made decisions.
I was going to say, the argument
So
that Justin's
was he bad
making
at
is
making
very
decisions?
modern.
He's really good at throwing bases.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is they still do make some in-game decisions. And if they feel strong enough about going against the analytics...
Yeah, then they put Robbie Ray in to be a relief pitcher, and that's an argument for analytics taking over.
Actually,
I think that was an analytics
That was
move.
an analytics decision.
Because when as the day after that, all I remember was hearing people talk about how that made no sense by analytics. I'd have to go back and...
It was a left on left.
Yeah, it was a lefty on lefty, but the matchups were bad.
Yeah, they didn't have any other better ones.
The only way that it made sense was that it was a lefty on lefty.
They didn't have any other better ones. Like, who do you throw against Yordan Alvarez?
I can't remember.
You pegged Yordan Alvarez.
Last I checked, there still isn't a good option.
I'm still
to throw
not
there.
mad about who was pitching. I'm mad that they didn't walk him. I felt like that should be a walk.
Yeah. And that was the plan
I'm not
that was
really
come
mad
up with.
either. I'm just sad.
Like, you're right. It's a team decision because I'm not sure if DePoto's involved in, but again, as you listen to hours and hours and hours of basketball stuff, I also listen to Jerry DePoto talk for almost a half hour every week.
What percentage of it is lies?
I mean, he is a lying liar.
I just envision Daniel listening to the Jerry DePoto show with this sneer on his face.
That's the thing, though. So I listen to how they make their decisions, and Scott Service has weight and all of those.
You listen to how they tell you they make their decisions.
Okay.
How they narrate.
You're
their
listening
thought
to how
processes.
people tell you they make their decisions.
Well, I'm not listening to team propaganda though.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm listening to.
Yeah, because ESPN and those people definitely aren't
I
propagandists.
don't go to the four-letter network for any of my analysis.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I go outside sources, credible ones.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you who they are, but
they're highly credible.
They're highly credible.
Yeah, that checks out.
Man, multiple sourcing. You gotta check the source and then check the source of the source.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta source the source.
Source the source.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
I hate this episode. Can we talk about something else?
Really frustrating.
Speaking of outside sources, Ryan Roland Smith has a podcast. It's called Top Step, From the Top Step, something like that. It's really good. I highly recommend it to people that are interested in like a little bit deeper baseball.
Yeah. The difference between this is I learned from Justin and he just poops on everything I say. So that generally is how it works.
I do?
Yeah, I mean, that whole discussion was like, I learned about all this new basketball stuff and what the tacticians and everything, and then every time I tried to bring up stuff about how baseball operations work, and you were just like, yeah, that's not true.
The difference is I'm right and you're wrong.
Okay. I think it's time for your favorite part of the show.
Okay.
Serving questions up on a silver platter, where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Daniel.
Depends on how it goes.
Since we have made a point to, like, a sincere effort to educate people on geography on this show.
I'm sure you were right about that.
Remember that time?
At least ourselves.
Remember that time that you forgot where Iowa was?
Yeah, that was sad.
So I thought it would be fun to...
It was the city of Des Moines. That's what got you, because there's one in Washington, too.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, it was...
That is confusing.
Definitely...
So that one's called Des Moines, and the other one's called Des Moines.
I definitely did not forget that the Midwest exists, and I definitely did not mix up Iowa and Idaho, and I definitely did not just have a complete brain fart. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah, of course
it was
not.
the Des Moines thing. I thought it would be fun, since we're the geography show, to have you tell me from north to south all of the states on the East Coast.
Oh, no.
Can you do the West Coast?
Who cares about the East Coast?
Are you counting Alaska on the West Coast?
Yeah. But not Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay, the East Coast. From north to south?
Yes. The first one's easy.
And they have to have coast, right?
Yeah, they have to be touching the coast, which there's one that I'm not sure about, but I'm going to say it doesn't touch the coast.
Okay, well, let's start with Maine.
Okay, Bing, 1.
That was the one I knew. I'm out now, but I'm.
The next few are pretty tough. I'd be impressed if you got through all of it with not getting any wrong.
Vermont?
Ooh, I'm sorry, that is not correct.
Vermont does not have coast, it looks
Really?
like.
Yeah, Vermont
I'm
is,
looking at a map here. Do you want to see it?
Yep.
I'm just
Do I
joking.
want to see it? Yes.
But Vermont is next to this state.
Rhode Island?
Nope, sorry, incorrect.
Rhode Island does have coast.
Correct.
Oh, that was a good hint, Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see. So Maine.
What, do you want music or something?
I should have let you start at the. You know what? Would you like to start at the south and work your way up? Would that make it easier for you?
I'm not sure if it would make it. Yeah, it might give me some more correct answers along the way.
Okay.
Including the Gulf Coast or not?
No.
No, just the east coast on the east side of Florida.
That was a freebie.
Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't sure if you would know Florida was the southern.
I'm already knee deep in the north part. So
Okay.
Delaware.
That is not correct.
Delaware also has coast.
Which one's south of Maine?
I
Wait.
would not have known this.
You want to take your one mulligan? I'm making up the rules as we go.
I've already used like 3 wrong guesses.
No, but if I give you one mulligan, I can just tell you what the next state is, and then you can move on. It would be kind of embarrassing not to be able to get past one, but
It would be. Yeah, sure. What's the next one?
if I'm reading the map right, and Andrew can confirm, New Hampshire.
That is also how I read the map.
Okay. It has like a tiny bit of coast.
Gotcha.
And then directly south of New Hampshire is
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Is Rhode Island?
No, I'm sorry. That's really close, but not correct.
Delaware?
No, I'm sorry. That is not correct. And less close.
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts is correct. You got
correct.
to 3, and it only took you 8 tries. Daniel, what's after Massachusetts?
So weird. I did not. For some reason, I always pictured Rhode Island as farther north.
Well, what's the next one?
Dude, there's
What's the
such a
one
mess of
after?
states up there, man.
There is.
Like, those states are so dumb. How did
Yeah.
they come up with such small
I just realized
areas?
that this map I'm looking at has shortened names, and I'm only like 50% sure I know the name of one of these states.
know.
It has to be right. I don't see that state anywhere else.
Okay.
I should have gone for
Wait,
the
is
south.
New Jersey its own state?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a suburb of New York. The
Is it?
state? No.
No matter what happens from here on out, I'm going to come out of this more embarrassed than you.
Wait, so it goes Maine, Massachusetts.
Maine, New Hampshire,
Maine,
Massachusetts.
New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island,
Rhode Island is correct. You've got 4.
Delaware.
Nope.
Nope.
Delaware has coast though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just further south.
New York,
Nope.
Connecticut.
Andrew,
Connecticut.
Connecticut is correct.
Connecticut is the
Forgot
one that was
about
shortened that I was like, wait, con?
Andrew, do you read the map as New York having coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
New York has coast.
Okay.
How could New York not have coast?
never
Manhattan
been there.
is in New York. Okay.
Is that what this
Manhattan
little
is an
island is?
Manhattan is an island
Is that what this little
New
island is
York.
on the map?
No, I think that's Long Island,
Okay.
which is
That
part of
would
New
make
York
a
also.
lot of sense, actually, because it is a long island. Daniel, what's after Connecticut?
This is not going well.
For you or me? Because I've said more dumb things than you have, if we're being completely honest. Is New Jersey a state? Does New York have coast?
Now is it Delaware?
Nope.
Now is it Rhode Island?
You already guessed Rhode Island, and you got it right.
Oh wait, I got Rhode Island right? When
Yeah.
was Rhode Island
Massachusetts, Rhode Island. You're guessing south of Rhode Island.
Yeah, you got Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
Wait, no,
know that I
he got the one after Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah,
also.
he got Connecticut.
you got Connecticut
You got
after Rhode Island.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly
now you
forgot
were
that I got Rhode Island. Okay, so it's a small state. You forget about it really
It's
quickly.
very easy to forget.
My dad made the joke, "Don't blink, you might miss it," when we were driving through it one time. Okay, so it's
And then you missed it.
yeah, Maine, Massachusetts,
New Hampshire,
Maine, New Hampshire,
Massachusetts,
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island,
Rhode Island,
Connecticut.
Connecticut, Delaware.
No,
No.
you just guessed that.
New York.
It is New York.
New Jersey.
Yes, it's New Jersey.
Delaware.
Delaware is correct.
Freaking Delaware.
You got Delaware. You finally got Delaware.
You're now out of states that you've already guessed.
Finally. New Jersey or Delaware south.
I'm sorry, I
of New
haven't been
Jersey?
playing the
Yeah.
ding sound.
That's so weird.
Like immediately south of it. Yeah.
That's so bizarre. Virginia.
Nope. Close, but no cigar.
West Virginia.
Nope.
West Virginia does not have
Coast.
Yeah,
coast,
I wouldn't have thought
since
that.
it's
I
to the
only said it
west
'cause it
of
was
Virginia.
Yeah.
Wait, so there's something.
It's
Does
actually like-
Virginia have coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not next.
Delaware.
I already know more about the East Coast than I ever wanted to know.
I feel like once you get past this next one, it's all going to go really fast. You're going to get all
This
the rest
is
of them.
yeah. This one I'm really struggling with. Like I can't even. This is bad.
What if you
like, I
pictured
can't-
like a black and orange bird?
Okay. This is bad. I'm trying not to say what was in my head.
Why? Was it penguin? Because those aren't orange. But some of them have some orange on them.
No, it was because I thought Baltimore was in Virginia.
Now he's trying to remember where Baltimore is.
It's in the state that my dad was born in.
Oh, of course.
He was born in Hagerstown, which is just about an hour outside of Baltimore. Is that helpful?
I feel this of all the things. I feel really bad that I don't know what
There's a
state
there's a
Baltimore
famous
is.
battlefield that I once stayed at a bed and breakfast at
Maryland.
called Antietam. Maryland is correct.
I totally forgot about Maryland.
Baltimore is in Maryland. Daniel, you are past the hardest part of it.
Virginia,
Virginia is correct.
North Carolina,
Yes.
South Carolina,
Yes.
Good job putting those in the right order.
Georgia,
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. We did it. We did it together. Congratulations to us.
That was painful. So Maryland. I already forgot what was south of Maryland. New Hampshire.
Virginia.
No.
Virginia.
Virginia was
no,
south of Maryland.
Sorry, Maine.
You already forgot what was at the top.
They both start with an M, though.
I'm broken.
It might as well be Iowa and Idaho.
Maine, New Hampshire,
Yep.
Connecticut.
Nope.
No, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Rhode Island.
Yep.
Connecticut.
Yep.
New York.
Yep.
New Jersey.
Yep.
Maryland.
No.
Oh. Yeah, there's one.
New
between-
Jersey.
Yeah.
Delaware.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maryland.
As many times as you guessed Delaware.
And then Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida.
Yes.
Gosh, it's a mess up there.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional, not going to lie.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. You're welcome, everyone. I will continue to try to give you opportunities for Daniel and me to both look dumb. Because that is what happened in that segment.
I gotta say, I blame my parents. They took me to the East Coast when I was like 7. So how am I supposed to remember?
I mean, looking at a map.
Nope.
Who does that? Who would do that?
I mean, like, literally my preparation for this segment was looking at a map of the East Coast. So, which is what I was distracted by when you took exception to me looking at my phone.
I'm not sure who this listener
Said it was
is.
show related.
I'm not sure who GD is as a listener, but they wanted you to know that at minimum Lupinella was the best at chewing gum and looking angry, and that they were laughing at Daniel for guessing, or laughing at the suggestion of West Virginia. Did you guess it?
I did, because I was so far screwed that I said West Virginia at some
And then he
point.
said it was Nebraska.
So Pinella's the all-time great at looking angry and chewing gum.
Yeah.
Is Pete Carroll intense in
Is he
chewing
the
gum?
anti-Pinella?
Because he's a happy guy in general,
Yeah.
but when he chews gum, it's more
It
intense.
is
Like
intense.
not, I wouldn't say angry though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I have ever seen Pete look actually like express anger.
Oh,
I feel like he expresses like.
Have you seen him yell at officials?
Yeah, he's always like super intense and like concerned. Like I feel he expresses like he gets way more concerned than angry.
You gotta read the eyebrows. Like are they slanted outwards like concern, or are they slanted inwards like anger? Let's watch some highlights of Pete Carroll yelling and figure it out. Should we do that right now, or should we finish the show?
Daniel's busy checking the eyebrows.
You have a very expressive face.
I was just wondering if maybe a good. But do I mention it? I was wondering if Mariners manager's order would be another good stump segment. Because it has been a plethora of disaster ever since Lupinella.
I don't know if I could muster enough caring about looking that up.
Right? See, I feel like I just told you what I'm going to do, and you're not going to do it.
I'm not going to look up at all.
Yeah.
Like, dude, honestly, I know we've discussed this before. There's a dead space of about a decade of Mariners baseball that
Jose Vidro.
I remembered Jose Vidro, but that was like a one-off. Like, ask me anything else about that season. I don't remember anything.
Mike Cameron was on the television call today.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We should take a commercial break and get away from the whole first half of this show, which was flat out, the wrong intro.
Sorry, that was my
bad
fault.
2-minute drill, awkward post 2-minute drill discussion, and then an absolute Travis mockery of trying to figure out what the East Coast was.
This is really, we're doing a good job of encouraging people to stick around after the
I would just like to say that I feel like the East Coast got the respect that it deserves.
The good stuff is coming up next, because boy, would we got rid of the bad stuff.
What we've got, local sports.
All the local sports, all the
Okay.
good stuff, all the reasons that people actually want to hear what we talk about.
All right.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Welcome back. We are The Scrimmage. I'm Daniel Hargrove. That's Justin Damashevitz. Producer Andrew. Thank you to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz and Ole Penn Real Estate, the sponsor of our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. Let's just get it going with the good stuff. Local sports roundup right now.
Montesano extended its baseball season and reached the State 1A semifinals with a pair of wins at Olympic Stadium on Saturday. The Bulldogs took down College Place 11-5 in a state opener, then topped Colville in a quarterfinal 5-4. Camden Taylor and Jackson Booz were the starting pitchers for Montesano, and Skylar Bovey picked up a 2-inning save in each game, allowing just one hit and no runs over 4 1/3 innings of work. I always read that wrong. Bad job by me. Several players contributed offensively against College Place. Josh Wilds hit a 2-run triple, while Denali Harris and Booz each hit a double. Caleb Ames led the team with 3 hits. Bodie Poehler hit a monster home run over the right field fence in the win over Colville. The Bulldogs will travel to Bellingham on Friday for the state semifinal against Natchez Valley.
Riley Timmons hit a 3-run dinger to walk it off for the Montesano softball team in the district title game for an 8-7 win over rival Hoquiam. The Grizzlies were undefeated in league play this season and had beat the Bulldogs twice. Earlier in the game, Karen Blood hit a home run, which gave Hoquiam the 6-4 lead. Both teams will advance to the state tournament in Richland starting Wednesday, both highly ranked.
Thursday.
And yet, there is some discussion. Yes, that is Thursday, and
we will talk about that after we're done with the roundup.
Interesting.
Montesano's soccer season ended on Saturday with a 2-0 state quarterfinal loss to Seton Catholic. In their state opener, the Bulldogs took down Northwest Christian 1-0. Luke Clements scored the lone goal. Jaden McElravy had 12 saves in keeping a clean sheet.
Ocosta took the District 4 softball title without allowing a single run in all 4 games. Gee, wonder who did that. In fact, or fiction? Jessie Gilbert, is she real? Threw 3 no-hitters! That's just dumb. En route to the title game and technically threw a 1-hitter. Technically?
We'll talk about that after the roundup,
against Adna. More on that later. Gilbert struck out an astounding 66 batters across 4 games. She also went 5 for 8 at the plate with 3 dingers, a double, 5 walks, 6 runs scored, and 5 RBI. Several other Wildcats had key contributions as well. Joanna Rosander scored a run, and Noelle Kuzday drove in a run as well in the title game. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing names there. Brian Rasmus scored the only run against Onalaska, driven in by Zeta Morales. And Gabby Ness drove in Rasmus and Samantha Schlegel for the only 2 runs in a win over PWV. In the opener against Judah Lake, Morales went 4 for 4 with a pair of RBI, and Rosander went 2 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI. Sophie Olive had 3 hits, including a double, scored once, and drove in a run. Rasmus also was credited with saving a hit by making an incredible catch behind second base. Ocosta will be back in action on Friday for the start of the 2B state tournament in Yakima. Whew.
That was a lot. I'll take this short one here. After losing to Ocosta, PL Willapa Valley qualified for state by beating Raymond South Bend 12-1 and Forks 5-3 on Saturday. After losing to PWV, RSB beat Toledo 6-1 and Friday Harbor 9-5 to snag the district's final state berth. So we will have 3 teams in that state softball tournament in Ocosta, PL Willapa Valley, and Raymond South Bend.
Nice.
You should have kept with the acronyms and changed Friday Harbor to FH. Aberdeen softball also qualified for the state tournament with a district win over WF West on Friday. Lainey Yakovich was the only Bobcat with multiple hits. She went 2 for 4 with a double, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Maddie Gore hit a 2-run double and scored a run. Eiley Scott went 1 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. The 2A state tournament will start on Tuesday in Sela. With the loss to Aberdeen, WF West will miss the state tournament for the first time in 20 years.
And Aberdeen will be the 10 seed in that state tournament. Elma freshman golfer Olivia Moore shot the low 2-day total to best the field at the 1A District 4 Girls Golf Championships on May 15 and 16 at the Tumwater Valley Golf Course. Moore's 2-day total of 155 beat defending district champion and last season's state runner-up Montesano standout Haley Blankus by 7 strokes to claim the district title in her first season. Blankus placed second, shooting 79 on day 1 and 83 in round 2 for a total of 162 to lead defending champion Montesano to a second-place finish. In addition to Moore and Blankus, Elma's Sophia Hamilton and Hoquiam's Ava Jump also qualified for the 1A State Golf Tournament, which is scheduled for May 23rd and 24th at the Riverside Golf Club in Chehalis. Thank you to the Daily World for that info.
Ooh, I've played at that course. That's nice. Aberdeen Soccer ended a very successful season with a state quarterfinal loss to Seahome. In their state opener, the Bobcats took out 5-1-0. Evan Cohn won the match for Aberdeen with a goal in overtime.
And finally, former Hoquiam Grizzly and current Everett College softball player Maddie German was named the Northwest Athletic Conference North Regional MVP for the 2023 season.
Wow.
The sophomore catcher hit .439 with 14 home runs, 63 RBI, and a .504 on-base percentage, and a .911 slugging percentage in 39 games for the Trojans. Thanks again to the Daily World for letting us know about that. And that will conclude the roundup portion of local sports coverage.
I'd say 14, 15.
That is what...
OPS?
Oh.
Jeez.
I was going to say 15 does come after 14. That is correct.
No, it's a 1,415 OPS.
Are you doing that in your head?
We have
I'm impressed.
several different things.
Don't quote me.
I'll assume it's accurate.
Several different things that I want to mention before, like, that will require a little discussion. We got a message from a Aberdeen track. I think it's a booster. I don't think it's a coach. Someone who follows Aberdeen track sent us some info about.
What's the definition of booster?
I think
Is
it's
it
like
just
someone
a fan or
like
someone
someone who like aids the program in one way or another, whether
Yeah.
it's like financially or with volunteering or something.
I would
always
say
assumed
that
it
it's
was financially.
I would
so.
I would say that it's a participating fan.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. You said it better and with less words.
I had more time to think about it.
I have a list. It's been really difficult. I know I complain about this every week. It's been really difficult to cover track this year because there are multiple classifications and so many results. A lot of times the track meets are happening, but the articles from the newspaper aren't out. And even if they are, it's really hard to go through in there and sift through all the results. So I appreciate the patience of the track fans out there who have missed out on having those athletes be recognized. We've gotten to it sometimes, but not as much as I'd like. So I got a message with a list of all of the Aberdeen track athletes who have qualified for state.
Nice.
So I want to make sure that we get those kids recognized. Luke Nemi has qualified in the 4x1, the 4x4, and the 100. Micah Schroeder, Jeremy Sawyer, and Brandon Newcomb are also part of that 4x1 team. Henry Nelson is on the 4x4 team, and he's also the 400-meter district champ, so he'll be competing in the 400-meter at state. Will Bowling is on the 4x4 team and also is qualified in the 1600. Isaac Garcia is on the 4x4 team, as well as Caleb Schimmelfenig on the 4x4 team. Nolan Cook, I believe, is an alternate. And actually, Caleb might also be an alternate on the 4x4. Nolan Cook, I believe, is the first alternate on the 4x1. Tyler Bates in discus and in shot put. And in shot put, he was the district champ. Jabron Brooks qualified in shot put. Solvig Kovarcevic, 400 meters. Cody Lemieux in the 100 meter, the 200 meter, and the shot put. And Josh Bowen in the 100 meter shot and jav.
Whoa, wait.
So,
there's people who have qualified in 100 meter sprint and the shot put?
Cody Lemieux
That's
and Josh Bowen.
that is not normal.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So congratulations to those Aberdeen athletes. I mentioned also that we got a message. You said we got a message. I looked it up, the message. Evergreen 2A All-League selections. Aberdeen's coaching staff was named Coach of the Year. So Staff of the Year. So congratulations to Jimmy McDaniel, their head coach. Yeah.
Which sport?
Softball. I'm sorry, did I not say that?
No.
Okay, softball, Evergreen 2A All-League, Coach of the Year, head coach Jimmy McDaniel, assistant coaches Brandon Ciano and Kyle Scott. As far as all-league selections of players, they had 3 first-team all-league selections. Pitcher Lily Camp, no surprise there.
Shocker.
Second base, Eiley Scott, no surprise there.
Yep.
And center field, Lainey Yakovich. Those girls are all really good.
Yes.
They've definitely had their names called many times on this show. And also honorable mentions, they got as a catcher, Alyssa Yakovich, as a third baseman, Britton Neal, and in left field, Cheyenne Patrick. So congratulations to all those girls. I also got a message about North Beach Track, which I thought this was really interesting, and I was super glad that this person brought this to our attention. So North Beach Track had, prior to last year, had never won a league title before in either boys or girls. Last year, they won both. This year, they won both again.
Wow.
So after never having won in the history of their program a boys or girls title, they have now won the league title in boys and girls 2 years in a row.
That's impressive.
They also went on, and at districts, the boys placed 9th, the girls placed 2nd, but they were 3 points out of a district championship.
Whoa.
So this is a very, very competitive track team. They are sending 12 athletes to compete in state as well. So congratulations to the North Beach track team. And I think there's 2 other things we need to mention before we get into talking about Ocosta softball.
Okay.
One of them is Emmie Spencer, and I put Emmie Spencer horsey running.
Yes. There's a video of it.
Well,
And it's
also
awesome.
Emmie, she is continuously breaking her own record.
Yeah.
So like she broke a record again.
Well,
But it's also Emmie's record.
This
Wait.
is no. She
I didn't
broke.
think this was Emmie's record.
This is not Emmie's record. So she broke a Washington State record in Keyhole, which is where you go in and spin around and come back
We
out
talked
on the
about Keyhole
horse.
before,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a district record before, wasn't it?
Okay, I'm sorry. So
She broke a Washington State record in Keyhole. She ran a 6.7. The previous record was from 2018 and was 6.918. So she beat it by 0.2.
So she broke not only her personal best mark, but also the best mark in the history of the state.
Yes.
And the
Dang.
previous record she broke was her own district record.
Right. I think
Because I know she
believe
broke.
so.
I remember that she broke that one.
She is
multiple
breaking
times.
records constantly.
Okay.
But
It's
this
really
was,
hard to keep
This
track.
was a significant record.
I mean, honestly, Emmie,
that
if
wasn't just her personal best.
Emmie, if you would slow down a little bit, like it would make it a little easier on me. If like every 2 weeks there's not you breaking another record, then
So-
I wouldn't get so mixed up.
Yeah, I think her previous district record was also a record that, like, that was her own record she was breaking.
Mm-hmm.
This one's different.
Also,
And now in
I'm
this
just blown
one,
away
you
by
know how
0.2.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a huge percentage.
Yeah,
In a
when you-
6.7 seconds.
Yeah, that's insane.
Do you guys have any element of like, okay, Emmie always wins everything. Like, okay, she won another thing. Like,
Yeah.
she's great. Okay, let's.
That I'm getting that more so with both Emmie, but more so Jessie Gilbert.
Okay.
Like, oh, she threw another no hitter. Ooh. Like, she's throwing no hitters.
Yeah.
And in this, she's moving on. So it sounds like this is something that has the nationals, because in the post I saw, she's going from state to regionals.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
what I see as well.
when you have things that end at state, they go districts, regionals, state. But when you have things that end with nationals or worlds, you go districts, state, regionals, because that's the region of the
Right.
state you're
the
in.
Northwest region or
Yeah,
something.
something like that, or the West region, and then you go to nationals. So she's moving on to regionals, which would probably be like the whole west side of the country or something.
And she'll break
ridiculous
another
like that.
record there, and then she'll go to nationals and break another record there, and then she'll go to universe and she'll break the alien record.
Yeah,
Like,
those alien horses don't stand a chance.
she's the queen of Keyhole. I mean,
Yeah. By the way, go watch the video. It's really cool.
yeah.
Not only the video that shows like how the horse does it, and
Yeah.
I didn't know horses could move like
Have
that.
we shared it from the Scrimmage page?
I don't know, but we should.
I'll
should do
try
that.
to do that while you guys talk.
But also her mom's reaction. I'm assuming it's her mom taking the video. Her mom's reaction of when the time flashes up and shows the or the state record. Awesome. I got chills.
You guys ever heard the song "All I Do Is Win"?
No, I've never heard that song.
Oh, I
before.
think I'm pretty sure it's a DJ Khaled song, and I think I saw a thing recently that he wrote that song about Emmie Spencer. Because all she do is win,
Yeah.
win,
She doesn't
No
win
matter
no matter
what.
what.
The thing is, she
Got
doesn't see
horses
another
on her
option.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other option. Only winning for
We were
Emmie
told
all the
that
time.
she even wins in fundraising stuff.
Yeah, yes, she's a champion fundraiser.
Yeah. I mean, we also you said we had two things to get to.
Yeah, the other one's Tiggy.
Tiggy.
So
yeah.
Tiggy's not in the local sports roundup because once again I did not find myself having enough time to sort through 2 meets worth of stats.
Yeah, that's just too much.
But I can tell you that Tiggy won this Timmy Higgins, or as I've been calling him lately, Tiggy Himmins, because he's him.
I still don't understand that one. You're gonna have to explain that to me later, but that's okay.
Okay, so Tiggy won.
It's like if you're saying he's the man, he's him.
I am
Really?
him.
That's yeah.
Like
that's
a
thing.
basketball player will go knock down a shot in someone's face and then be like, I am him.
Gosh, this generation.
Oh
is
wow!
stupid.
I
You
think
can't
that-
say that about yourself.
Oh,
You can't
no,
say
no, no,
I'm the man.
I
This
think
is
that
so
was a
dumb.
I could be wrong about this. The first time I ever heard that was someone telling a story about Jimmy Butler. And that's why people started calling him Himmy Butler.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's
This is a weird time
Yeah.
we live in.
so you're not on board with calling him Tiggy Himmins?
I mean, you can call him that all you want.
Or if we want to be more proper about it, we could call him Tigathy Himmins.
I saw that later in the show. I'm starting. I mean, it's taking on a mind of its own at this point.
Kind of out of hand. But what I can tell you about Tiggy is
Okay.
that he won 4 league titles.
Yeah.
which is the maximum. You're allowed 4 events. He finished first place in all of them.
It's a lot.
And then 6 days later, he went to the district meet and won 3 more She won 3 more titles.
So what? They didn't win the 4x4?
I could probably figure that out.
Well, what I saw was he won the 8, 16, and 32.
Which is, like, that's too much running.
Too much.
Like, I think that Tiggy's dad, Francis, should
Settle
be
down.
investigated for child endangerment.
You know, if they have innings pitched limits,
Yeah.
should kids really be allowed to run that much in a day?
Only if they have an irresponsible father. Good going, Francis. Anyway, I think it cannot be overlooked the fact that Tiggy had literally 7 titles in 6 days.
Yeah.
3 district titles, so which means he's qualified for state in all 3 of those.
Yep.
He's going to go compete at the state meet for all those.
Oh, man.
And this is a kid who,
Are those all in the same day?
Probably not.
Okay, good. 'Cause that would suck.
Because I think, and I'm only basing this on the fact that my son went to state last year and remembering that there's 2 days of competition.
Okay.
I think they probably have them spaced out.
Hopefully, because that's too much running.
Yeah. Although
I mean,
I could not say that
Jane Roloff
confidently.
never stops running, so maybe
Yeah.
it's just a running thing.
It's true.
What's the movie where the guy can't stop moving or he dies?
What?
Is that Crank you're thinking of?
There's a movie where like the guy, there's something about like adrenaline. If his adrenaline
I
drops
think
below,
that's Crank.
Yeah, that's Crank.
if
Jason
it drops
Statham,
below
right?
a
Jason
certain level, then
Statham,
he'll
yes.
die.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Steakums?
Do you guys think that it's possible that Jane Roloff is suffering from a condition in which she ever stops running? Because when we talked about this before, we said we pictured Jane Roloff in her classes at Hoquiam High School on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Like running on a treadmill
Yep.
while the teacher is lecturing, doing her tests on a treadmill.
Yep.
That she just always runs because possibly if she stops running, she'll die.
That's true.
Well, like, I mean, Tiggy's kind of getting into that realm.
He is.
Where like when you're winning the 800, the 16, and the 32.
You didn't stop running for long.
Yeah.
Right? And then they have a warm-up run, and then there's a cool-down at the end.
Yeah.
Like, why does a person decide? It's like people who choose to run cross-country. Sorry, Tiggy. Like, why do you hate yourself? Do you hate your legs? Like, why do you subject yourself to that?
I ran.
I've heard about the
cross-country
runners
once.
high. Maybe they're just addicts, and we should feel bad for
Yes,
them.
Yeah.
Did you see the post, by the way, about Tiggy and the kid who finished second
Yes.
in one of those races?
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that kid.
You should talk about it.
So I saw the post, and his track coach posted it.
Dave Beeler.
Yeah, and thank you for posting it, by the way. Tiggy's dad shared it. That's why I saw it. And Tiggy decided after one, I can't remember which race it was. Was it the 1600?
I don't
or the
recall.
32. But this kid, his shoe fell off during the district championship.
And in the picture, he has one shoe on.
Yeah, which
like
is great.
Sherman on
which
that,
is great.
that interception.
Yeah. So his shoe fell off, and Tiggy took first in this race, and so he decided, hey, in a show of sportsmanship, he asked his track coach to take a picture of them both, and he switched the medals with this kid and said, hey, you finished second. You would have finished first had your shoe not fallen off. Let's get a picture together.
Which, let's be honest, is not true. Like,
Yeah,
Tiggy
I
was
still
going to
think
win.
Tiggy was going to win.
Yeah, but
no matter what.
he's being sportsmanship.
Very, very.
Sportsmanship-like. Sportsmanlike.
It was very sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very sportsmanship-like.
Just like Princess Bride quote there. And so he takes a picture where he switches medals with him, and I mean, what a great show of sportsmanship that is. He did mention that he made sure he got that medal back.
Yeah, you got to go home with the gold. Like,
Exactly.
you're not giving it away.
Yeah. But I mean, the more I hear about this kid, the more I love him, and that is just absolutely ridiculous that he's won 7 titles in 6 days, and now he's on his way to state, and I can't wait for it. And it's really, the Jessie Gilbert thing is starting to present a problem.
Well, because like I know we said this
creating an issue.
we said this last week. Like, if we wanted to, we could legitimately make a case to name Jessie Gilbert Athlete of the Week virtually every single week.
Yeah.
And this week, when it was like, oh, Tiggy, 7 titles in 6 days. This districts. This is league meet stuff.
all of the escalators a track person could get.
And then Jessie freaking Gilbert, man.
Jessie freaking Gilbert.
She,
Jessie, not real Gilbert.
yeah.
I liked Jessie GPT Gilbert.
Because she's just something that an AI made up somewhere.
Yeah.
Jessie the Cyborg. Whatever nickname you want to give her, throw them all up on a wall, see which one sticks, because they all make sense.
Write them all on pieces of bologna, then throw the bologna on the ceiling.
There it is.
Whichever one falls down first is the
last.
Whichever one stays up the longest.
Yeah.
Hannah, can we do that?
No.
Okay, never mind. That idea has been vetoed.
I don't think they have bologna here.
Well,
Yeah, that's gross.
they have it at the store.
Why would we have bologna?
The store is just a half an hour away.
Jesse Aesop's Fable Gilbert. No, that's probably too deep of a cut there.
But Jessie Gilbert. Okay, so I mentioned four no-hitters.
Yeah.
I also mentioned in the local sports roundup 3 no-hitters. So basically,
so-
what happened is she threw 3.
The way her leg was.
The first 3 no-hitters, not disputed, official no-hitters.
Right.
In the title game, there was one play that in Ocosta's book they marked as an error,
Okay.
and in Adna's book they marked as a hit.
Ooh.
Is there video of this?
I haven't seen video, but Adna was the home team.
Shocker.
So if their book is the official book,
Yeah.
but I'm still going to say it's a no-hitter. So I'm rolling with 4 no-hitters, even though technically, officially, it's 3. And I think, in a way, like I kind of don't want to get hung up on it.
Yeah.
Because even if she only allowed 1 hit and struck out 66 batters
She was clearly struggling.
over the course of 4 games, in which I did the math on the amount of innings she pitched, and I think there was like 84 outs possible or something like that. Like there was not many outs that were not strikeouts.
Softball pitching doesn't put the same strain on your shoulder as
think
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
more
baseball
elbow.
pitching, right?
I think
I'm
it's
just
both.
curious because like you couldn't do that in baseball.
No. Like there is no pitch limit or innings limit on pass
Yeah.
pitch.
Okay.
I would say this. I have covered pitchers before that pitched every single inning of every single game for their team all year and seemed
Softball?
to get
Okay.
and seemed to get tired.
Well,
Tired
tired
makes-
is different.
So that's what I'm saying is
than
like I think like when you're in
risking injury.
the district tournament and you got 4 games in a week, like Ocosta has done enough resting Jessie when they didn't need her.
Yeah.
That
Smart.
they
could
even though
rely
she
on
broke the strikeout record like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she's probably doubled the total since then. Now she can just go, you
Yeah.
know, and obviously is just getting stronger as she goes because, you know, whatever
Yeah.
ChatGPT said so.
It's it's the same as Timmy running all those. That's what it is. Like you're gonna get tired and your performance might dip a little
Exactly,
bit.
yeah.
In the last one.
Right.
But it's not.
You might
risking
give
injury.
up a hit.
Yeah, but it's not risking
Maybe.
your UCL blowing.
In the conversation I was having earlier,
That's
Which
that's what
is
I was
also completely
thinking.
arbitrary, and we don't know why it happened.
but it's an important
Daniel's
distinction.
been reading
It is
the
an important
arm.
distinction to make because if you overwork baseball pitchers, you're much more risking injury, and if you overwork softball pitchers, you're much more risking fatigue
Yeah.
Right.
and dropping
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
But that was the only point I was trying to make.
Right.
Is not that I've seen people get hurt because they pitch too much softball, but that there's been a couple times where there's really great pitchers and then they seem to get tired towards the end of the season.
Right.
The conversation I was having in a group chat earlier is, in all the time I've been covering sports, I've seen a lot of really great pitchers. Like we've had some in Monte, Madison Didion, Samantha Stanfield, in Elma, Brooke Goldsmith, Hoquiam, and I feel terrible for not remembering her name, but I think it was Bailey.
Bailey, oh gosh, what was her? Spurline?
I think so, maybe.
And then back when I was in high school, Krista Bakar was
Right.
insane. She was the
So
girl
you're-
who I was referencing who used to just get walked every
So
time. Never got to hit.
You're going back before
that sucks.
my time too,
Yeah.
but I'm talking like since I've been covering sports.
Daniel's
so,
going back before Justin's time.
no, I'm
Sorry,
just saying like
Katrina Ramey was also going to
when
but
Daniel-
there's been some
when-
awesome players.
when Daniel and I were in high school, I wasn't paying attention to softball except for the Aberdeen softball team because there was a girl I liked on it.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah, I married her. But in the time I've been covering sports, which is a long time, like a
Yeah.
decade and a half,
Yep.
Wow, you're old.
I can't remember a softball pitcher this dominant.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's been really good ones, and I don't want to discount any of them.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone that I can recall who puts up the kind of games consistently that Jessie does with her strikeout totals. And I don't remember ever a story of a pitcher going on a run like she did this week, totally screwing up Tiggy's Athlete of the Week possibilities.
Absolutely.
Because while he did something that's amazing and great and he deserves all the recognition for it, she did something I can't conceive of.
Right. Right, because it's not like this district is not good.
It's what
This
her league
district-
is one of the best leagues in the state.
Her league is one of the best leagues. Her district's one of the best districts. It's stacked.
And I do want to get to actually the teams that they beat along the way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, during this district tournament when she's throwing these no-hitters, the lowest RPI ranked team that she faced was Tootle Lake. They're 20. Onalaska is 18. PL Willapa Valley is 8th in the RPI. They got seeded defending champions.
Yeah, state champions.
Defending state champions. They got seeded 6th in the state bracket. And then the other team that they beat in the title game was Adna, who's 3rd in RPI and got seeded 1st in the state bracket. The team that Ocosta just beat, that she no hit or one hit technically, depending on which book you look at,
Yeah.
and hit a home run against, that's the number 1 team in the state. So she didn't get like this cupcake road to the district title where she's throwing no hitters left and right. She's doing this through tough competition.
The best competition. Like, you can't find another league like the league
Yeah.
she plays in. You can't find another district as strong as this district.
And the PWV pitcher, I think her name's Lauren Emery,
Yeah.
who is also one of the best pitchers in the state, playing against Ocosta. She struck out 13 batters.
Yeah.
and
good.
And she was really good, and
She's
Jessie
really
was
good.
just better.
Jessie is a different sophomore.
Yes, she's a sophomore.
Sophomore!
She's a sophomore.
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
And then,
Not real.
as much as we all talk about the pitching, and then we go to the batting.
I forget about the batting. I don't even think
And
of...
she's allowed to bat for some reason.
Well, she had 13 plate appearances. She got walked 5 times.
Professional baseball used to have rules against this.
And in her 8 at bats, she got 5 hits, and 3 of them are home runs, and one's a double.
Oh, wait, now they have rules against this, don't they?
Insane.
It's like, when we got, we had the discussion about whether it's okay to walk her or not.
Oh, it's okay to. I just...
No,
It's
and
just lame
but I'm saying
to
like
be walked.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why they do that.
yeah.
But you know what? I'll say this for Acosta too. We've spent so much time talking about Jessie Gilbert. I made a sincere effort to make sure that we mentioned a bunch of other names in the
I
roundup
noticed.
today. You're welcome. And I planned it actually so that you would be the one who did that. But in some of these games, when Jessie was offensively didn't contribute or had the bat taken out of her hands, her teammates stepped up. They're the ones who drove in the runs. They're the ones who scored the runs.
Yeah.
And while Jessie had an amazing offensive performance, she couldn't have done this without her teammates picking up in the moments when she, like I said, either didn't get hits or had the bat taken out of her hands because she only got walked. She needed her teammates to step up for her, and they did that, several of them.
Yeah.
Because
Lots
it
of
wasn't
great-
hard to mention like 6 or 7 names because there were so many athletes from Ocosta who contributed in those games.
Lots of great players on that Ocosta team.
Yeah.
Recognizable names as well. And it just, again, people just across the spectrum who would be getting more recognition if it wasn't for Jessie freaking Gilbert.
Yeah. Did you know she's only a sophomore?
Dear Lord, keep her healthy.
Oh gosh.
Because, holy crap, the high school career will never be touched.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
I can't imagine. She broke their career strikeout level record as a sophomore.
It was
in
the
the regular
regular
season.
season. It was
silly.
the regular season.
That's
The regular
silly.
season.
the season.
That's not
strikeout.
serious.
So that was my question. Like
That was just the regular season record.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have the overall record yet.
I don't know.
Maybe she does. Who
But
knows?
they actually have had a couple of other pitchers there in Acosta who.
We're really good.
Because remember, the strikeout record was 15.
Right.
She's broken it like 18 times.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like,
I mean,
now that
she's
now that
got
she's
more
made-
than the theoretical maximum number of strikeouts.
Yes. So that's
In
true.
the game, yeah.
So she's done this with a long district run.
I
She's
guess
going to
it's
get
not
some
theoretical
games in
maximum,
state. So what's the state record for strikeouts in a season? And how could it possibly be more than what Jessie has? Like, is there a universal source of this information that we can find that out?
I hope so. Andrew's Googling furiously over there.
So anyway, it struck me recently that as much as we've been talking about Jessie all season long, that as a sophomore, this is a talent that is unprecedented from what I have seen in, like, grand scheme. Okay, yeah, there's been a lot of years I didn't watch sports, but I've been following sports pretty closely for the last decade plus here.
Yeah.
And this is not an athlete I've seen. I haven't seen accomplishments like this.
Right. I actually have run into somebody who said that they know of a pitcher who transferred out of Ocosta to pitch in a different school district, and that's the best pitcher they've seen in a long time, and they've played travel fast pitch and stuff like that, and this is one of the best pitchers they've ever seen. Had to transfer out.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to pitch there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've reached this point where it's just ridiculous. Oh, we got a message.
We did? Let me check it.
It says Jessie broke the career record also.
As a sophomore.
As a sophomore.
Does that mean that she's literally twice as good?
Oh, thank you, Kathy, for sending us.
Do you remember when we were talking about
It's just silly.
Carson Freeman and how amazing she is and how she's got 1,000 points as a sophomore and all this stuff, and like that seemed like boom, that's like she didn't break the scoring record for a career.
Wow, yeah, that's
insane.
Jeez.
Okay, so I have a proposal.
Okay.
I say we have the Jessie Gilbert Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
Like we just named the award after her
And then,
moving forward.
And then we have the other Athlete of the Week, and that will be Timmy
How
this
about
week.
we
So like
just
the Jessie Gilbert Athlete of the Week, it isn't selecting Athlete of the Week, it's
just
relating the activities of the
Jessie.
Athlete of the Week.
That would be a good idea to get more sponsorship money. Also, how about we just change it from the Scrimmage to the Jessie Gilbert Show?
Yeah.
Like the best way to honor her would be just to change the name of our whole show.
I'm just trying to think of a way, like, she's obviously the Athlete of the Week, but she's in her own category.
Yeah.
So we have the Ole Penn Real Estate Jessie Gilbert Athlete of the Week, which is just her. And then also this week we have the Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week, which is Tiggy.
I've kind of been
Higgins
doing
or
that, but I
whatever.
do Athlete of the Week and honorable mention.
What's the record for most strikeouts in a game? I feel like she should get together with her catcher. I feel like she should get together with her catcher and set a world record for most strikeouts in a game, because the catcher could make that happen, right?
What? How many did she have this year? Was it 20?
It was 22.
And
so crazy.
The national record was 24.
Yeah. But like, actually, he made this exact same point when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
That you should get the catcher on board and just do it. Like, have the catcher miss a few strike threes.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, gosh. Kathy again, thank you so much. She is at 401 strikeouts, and the career record was 383.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
She's a sophomore! Somebody check that kid's birth certificate. Is anybody doing a PED test on Jessie Gilbert?
This is why.
Does she need to be examined by a doctor to make sure she's more human than robot? Like, what's the percentage?
What's the percentage that's allowed?
We've established she's a cyborg, but if she's like 30% cyborg, is it allowed? Like, is it just the pitching arm? No, it's got to be both arms because she hits like a maniac too.
I still don't believe it. I haven't seen it. It's not real. The last thing you said, you were like, Jessie Gilbert just threw 3 no-hitters, and I was like, fake news. She's not a real person.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I am so excited for Jessie. This is so cool.
We got one more thing to talk about
so
before
cool.
we go into our next break.
Oh, okay.
As much as I think we could probably stand here and talk about Jessie Gilbert for another 10 minutes.
It's
Sit.
awesome.
We're not even standing. What am I doing?
I could.
I got broken talking about Jessie
Yes.
Gilbert. I want to discuss the Montesano baseball game that we broadcast.
That was lots of fun.
It was so much fun, Daniel. We haven't. You've done a few baseball games. This was my first.
It was my fourth.
So, I was a little nervous that there's going to be a lot of dead space because I've watched a lot of MLB baseball prior to this year when everything moves fast now.
Yep.
High school baseball, even on a broadcast, moves really quickly.
So fast.
And I didn't get time to tell half the embarrassing stories about the players that I wanted to from when they were 11 years old.
Oh, I should have given you more opportunity.
But there wasn't time.
We did mention Skylar's dog multiple times.
Easton probably got 5 mentions.
Yeah. My favorite was when you mentioned him after there was a kid on the other team named Easton. It's like, hey, Easton, that's a good baseball name. And you're like, yeah, that's Skylar Bovey's dog's name.
And then we ran into Skylar's mom after the game, and we were like, hey, Easton got some mentions on the radio. And she was like, you mean my dog? And I was like, yeah. I'm sorry, Daniel, that you try to do things very professionally, and sometimes I always manage to throw a wrench in things. But
I mean, could he expect anything less? Having
no, he knew what he was getting into. That's
Montesano homer.
You know what I was trying to lean into? I was trying to picture myself as the Aaron Goldsmith, and Justin was like the Ryan Roland Smith. Like, I was trying to just lean into the kind of fun broadcast.
Well,
you did a good job of that.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I didn't listen because I was at a kid's birthday party.
Excuses.
It is an excuse. It is an excuse, but it was at Olympic Stadium, right?
So. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was
the party.
Awesome.
Was
That's
at Olympic
really
Stadium?
really cool. I'm not talking about the party.
Sorry, I was talking when I was mumbling under my breath while you were talking, so I wasn't listening.
I wasn't listening to you either.
Yeah.
At Olympic Stadium, blue skies, T-ball / Little League games happening on the other side of the fence.
That's awesome.
I mean, it could not have been more perfect. I almost had another I'm getting emotional moment because during the national anthem, right before the national anthem, we were just talking about all these kids and how Justin knew them when they were like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And then the national anthem's playing, and I'm looking over and I'm seeing little like 6-year-olds trying to throw a ball back and forth, and I'm just picturing Camden Taylor, Skylar Bovey, Bodie Polar as like 5-year-olds, and I was like starting to get all misty eyed. I was like, good thing we play commercials during this.
Actually, my son Peyton played coach pitch with Bodie.
Yeah,
Bodie's dad coached that team.
What, 7 years old?
Something like that. Yeah.
Did you play in Olympic Stadium as a kid?
Okay. I walked into the stadium and I almost melted just from like memories.
I was assuming you did.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm not a Grizzly, but that is like that venue
is a really cool
awesome.
Stadium.
The only knock against it is that like it needs some upgrades in like the actual wood of the seating and the stairs.
It was built during the Great Depression by I forgot what they called it just now, but the whole thing that FDR put into place where they're trying to give people jobs just doing things.
I'm like
it's really cool and really old.
Even with that, I can't imagine myself complaining about baseball games there. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like the venue is awesome. The environment is amazing. The field itself is awesome. The view when you're in the stands or you're up in the press box, the view that you have out there in the outfield is so cool. Like you said, Daniel, you get the added ambiance of Little League games going on out in the distance. And the Montesano...
Is it the same press box as the
No,
football?
it's on the opposite side of the field.
So you guys sent a picture of you, and I was like, that doesn't look like a press box I know.
We were next to the press box.
Oh, okay.
We weren't important enough to be in the press box. But Montesano baseball players responded in a big way.
Yep.
I think there's multiple examples of times that they could have gotten down, and they didn't. They responded very quickly. Very start of the game.
Yeah.
College Place, was it 2-0? Did they go up 2-0 in the top of the first inning?
Yep.
And
bases loaded twice in that inning.
Exactly. And then Camden was able to get out of that, and good defense behind him and guys making plays. And then you come out in the next inning, Bodie gets on, Caleb gets on, Josh Wills 2-run triple. So like it literally took them 3 batters to get right back into it. I think they scored 5 runs that inning.
Yeah.
So you went from being like, oh, this is one of the worst starts we could have possibly had. We're down 2-0 to all of a sudden we're in command. And they did let up more runs throughout the game, but from that point on, they really were in control of the game the rest of the way.
Absolutely. It was excellent performances. And as you mentioned, multiple times where things could have snowballed and they got it under control. We mentioned Skylar's dog earlier.
Yeah.
Skylar
Is a dog.
is a dog.
Yeah.
And I was going to be like, well, that's kind of mean. But
No,
no.
Easton is a dog.
They're bulldogs.
No, that's the thing. No, he's a dog. Like
His
if he's a
performance
competitor, that's a
was awesome.
He's got some dog in him. I've heard that.
Absolutely awesome. He absolutely came in at a time in the first game where you're just like, okay, you're up by 5. Just go in, throw strikes. First guy, kind of a hard luck base hit. Right back at him. He gets a glove on it.
Yeah.
Can't make the...
Kept it in the infield.
Kept it in the infield. Second guy, he walks, and you're like, uh-oh. A little shaky. Uh-oh. Gets the next 3 guys in a row.
And looking silly. And
Yes.
those next 3 guys were the 1, 2, 3 batters in the lineup.
That's the next inning.
Oh, that's the next inning?
No, wait.
No, it was it was
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one,
Well, you
two,
have the book
three-
in front of you.
Yeah, it was the one. You're right. It was the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, with
And
runners in scoring or with a runner in scoring position.
And the 3-hitter was 3 for 3 in the game with a monster triple in his previous at bat.
It was 3 Ks too.
Yeah, he made them all look silly.
Yeah.
And it was 3 Ks in a row in which when he bounced back, and I know we talked about this on the broadcast, the mantra from when Skylar was like 10 or 11 years old was, hey, your negative emotions will be your own worst enemy. Don't be your own worst enemy. You got to stay on top of this. You got to stay in it. And in a moment where state opener, junior, you go out there and things go very badly, your first 2 hitters, he bounced back in a way that, like, I'm just a friend. Like,
Yep.
I was so proud of him.
Yeah.
I coached this kid. I've known this kid for so many years, and like he had those guys so off balance. They were waving at pitches. They had wobbly knees. Like, it was the way the master class of how to keep pitchers off balance that he did. To keep batters off balance. Thank you. That he did in that 1, 2, 3 to end that 6th inning was like, it was so amazing.
I called a couple of swords.
Yeah.
Because they looked like guys waving swords around trying to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's a new term that the YouTube channel Pitching Ninja has come up with, which if you throw a sword, you know that you got people just absolutely out of sorts.
Just that non-competitive.
Yeah, where they go to swing and then they're like, "Ugh!" And it looks like there's a swordsman swinging at a butterfly or something like that. It just looks weird.
Agreed.
He also comes in the next game, which they won 5-4, a 1-run game. He throws 2 1/3 innings.
2.1.
Yeah. Of no-hit ball
to
get the win, to secure it so they can move on. Just a huge performance by Skylar over the weekend. So many great performers on this team.
Could have been athlete of the week.
He could. I mean, gosh, so many. And yet again,
he's got to be in the conversation.
Yet again, so many of Monte's baseball players could have been baseball player of their weekend.
Yeah.
And yet you would have a hard time picking one of them.
We literally didn't pick a player of the game.
We couldn't pick a player of the game.
We were
and
stuck on like 4 guys.
I don't think we could pick a player of their weekend.
No, I don't think so either.
And it was hilarious. In the first game, Bodie Polar went 0 for 1, and yet he was one of our thoughts for player of the game.
Yeah, because he got hit by a pitch twice
and a walk, scored 2 runs, made multiple excellent defensive plays.
Just phenomenal defense.
Yeah, and yet because he only had 1 at bat out of 4 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great game.
In that
it was
vein,
a great weekend for him, and super excited. And apparently they don't play in Yakima anymore for the state tournament. They're going up to Bellingham.
Yeah.
Which is almost the same distance away, but they used to play in a minor league field in Yakima right next to the Sundome. So I don't know what this new field is, but hopefully it's really nice.
Well, this is a good thing for Monte, though, because they're playing Natchez Valley, which is right by Yakima.
Is that how you pronounce it? Natchez?
Natchez?
I thought it was Natchez, but I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to say Nachos.
They're playing Nacho Valley.
I was also corrected that it's not Natchez Valley. People just say Natchez. The valley's not necessary.
Oh.
So I'm going to say Nachos Valley.
Nacho Valley.
So Nacho Valley, which sounds like a Mario Kart track.
Forest.
Nacho Valley.
Forrest is never going to send us pictures ever again.
Sorry, Forrest. Nacho Valley is right by Yakima, so now they have to travel all the way to Bellingham, which is way further than Monte traveling to Bellingham.
Andrew, Google that. Which is a farther drive?
Oh, how could it not be?
I don't know. It's got to be a similar, I would think.
Well, but Yakima's like way south, though.
Yeah, that's true, but we have to drive through Seattle.
Okay.
I don't know.
They have to drive through.
Well, you know what? I'm fully willing
above.
to acknowledge that I could be
don't
wrong
know.
here. I looked at it on a map, and I was like, "Oh man, that's way further."
I mean, as a crow flies, yes. But I'm wondering with that weird, like...
It's such an old guy saying.
As the crow flies, it'll be 3
Where in Bellingham?
I was just saying Bellingham.
Some
I don't know
field.
Just
where.
Bellingham.
I
Okay.
don't know the field
I
name.
don't remember the name.
Yakima to Bellingham, Monte to Bellingham.
While he's looking that up, there was 2 other players I wanted to make sure we mentioned from this game. One was, since we were talking about defense, I know I was blown away by the defensive play of Denali Harris.
You were going to say that, yep.
And I mentioned it several times on the broadcast, but like that game was a really great example of how important a defensive catcher is.
Oh, yeah.
Because the game that we broadcast, the catcher for College Place was struggling.
And it's not that he was bad.
Yeah.
His pitcher didn't help him out much either.
Oh, no, not at all. But then it
Woof.
was like, it
Woof.
felt like it got completely out of control because
Yeah.
the pitcher was a little off and the catcher was a little off, and then they just couldn't
The
connect.
amount of runs that were scored on wild pitches was too dang high.
Yeah, and some that I would consider pass balls, like some that were like,
Yeah.
you maybe could have stopped that. But as a catcher, like you only have so much bandwidth for how many amazing stops you can make.
Yep.
So Denali Harris for Montesano not only has a cannon going to second base, and I was like, I know every time I feel like I was watching the end of warm-up so I could watch Denali's throw to second because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like every time you were looking down. And I kept looking over at you like, oh, Daniel, did you see that?
I
And you're-
watched his throws. What are you saying?
I don't know. I just decided to throw you under the bus for some reason.
That was a random one.
But watching his throws in warm-ups, he didn't really get there. I think there was only one throw down to second during the game that I can remember, and the throw was a little off. But during warm-ups, he had throws down to second. His throws down to second are pinpoint and hard. Also, him as a catcher making plays on pitches, getting pitches that are low, getting pitches that are outside. But also, he had a play at the plate with a throw from center field to Caleb Ames. And by the way, Caleb Ames did a great job. This should have been a sac fly that scored a run.
He had 2 outfield assists.
Exactly. And he ran up on this in a way where he knew exactly what he was doing. He fielded it. He threw it. The throw came in maybe a few feet outside the plate to the right. Denali went and got it, turned on a dime, went back to the other side and managed to get the tag down on the runner as he was diving into home plate. And then in addition to the defensive play, Denali Harris also had a monster double to the wall in left field.
Ground rule double.
Ground rule double.
One hopped over the wall.
Looked like it might be gone off the bat.
I think he might have thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, he smoked it.
Yeah.
Just crushed it.
Yeah. And then the other player I wanted to mention was Jackson Booz, because in the pregame interview with Monty's coach Mike Osgood, he said, "Hey, we have a senior, Jackson Booz. He's one of our best pitchers, if not our best pitcher. He's right neck and neck with Camden Taylor as our top pitchers, and he is a good hitter, but he's kind of underperformed this year to what his expectation was. And while he has underperformed, we also know that like at any moment he could pop off and get some big hits for us. And Jackson did exactly that in the game that we saw. He had a huge double into the gap in left center field, and then later in the game he also hit a really hard line drive for an RBI single into right. So, I think Jackson entered that game with 10 hits on the season, which again, he didn't have a great year hitting, but he's capable of hitting, and he proved it in that state opening game when his team needed him. He came through for him.
Yeah, a double and a single, and the double was absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Two more things before we get, unless you have anything more you want to add. Awesome performance all around.
Yeah.
Great defensive plays, great plays all around for this Monte team. Super fun to watch. Loved what I saw for him. Andrew, how far is it from Yakima and from Montesano to Bellingham?
From Nacho Valley High School.
Thank you.
It is 3 hours, 40 minutes, 236 miles.
Okay.
To Bellingham, just the city.
Yeah.
From Montesano, it is 3 hours and a minute, 188 miles.
That is closer than I thought it was going to be.
And actually, so I agreed with
as the
you.
crow
Oh,
flies.
yeah, Yakima's a lot further south. Yakima is like just barely south of Centralia. it's not that much further south than us.
Weird.
It's just way east. And to get there from Nacho, you have to travel east to Yakima and then north up to Ellensburg and then across. The other way, which feels like it would be shorter, it takes like an hour longer.
I just keep picturing what the Nacho Valley Mario Kart track would look like.
So
You got, like, it's like cheese all over the place and chips popping up with faces looking
Yeah.
at you.
And then the real tricky parts have like the chili that get mixed into
Is
it.
there guaguacamole?
Oh,
Probably
I'm
somewhere.
so hungry. I want nachos.
You
so
ate
bad.
before you came.
I know. It's only a sandwich.
Well,
The only other thing I have to mention about that is Montesano fans, rest easy. Deer Park got knocked out in this weekend, so you don't have to worry about Deer Park.
Oh, I also
Seeing Braden Dorman, just thought I had to throw
Yeah,
that
that's a
out
tough
there.
one.
Oh, sorry, Braden. Thank you for
Triggered.
coming over and saying hi to us, by the way, though. He's not listening. He's too big time for us now anyway.
He said that that's not true.
He did, but then he also didn't talk on the radio. So.
Yeah, but we do have to name an Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week, and we will run through the nominees, and then we will finally end the show. That's so long. But first, we're going to take our last commercial break.
At Ole Penn Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With Ole Penn, it's personal.
Thank you for listening to The Scrimmage. We are brought to you by Ole Penn Real Estate and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. It's just me and Pax right now. I'm sure Daniel and Andrew will be back in a minute. They just ran off in different directions, but they're always trying to get away from me, so I'm kind of used to it. But we do have we have several nominations for Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. I mean, we kind of already know who's going to win it, but I still think it's worth going through who the nominees are. We would be irresponsible if we didn't mention Timmy Higgins for his performance for Hoquiam track, not only winning 4 league titles, but then also winning 3 district titles. And honestly, what I would say, if you're putting 3 events together, it's probably the 3 most difficult events to put together in the 300, the 1600, the 3200, the 1600, and the 800. So we got Timmy Higgins. I
get tired in the 100. Just throwing that out there.
I got tired. I'd get tired in the 100 if I was just jogging it.
Oh my gosh.
Riley Timmons.
I don't want to walk 100.
Riley Timmons for Montesano softball. She hit a game-winning walk-off 3-run home run for the Bulldogs against the rival Hoquiam Grizzlies in their district championship game. And actually, that was the other thing we didn't discuss, but I don't know if we really have time to, Daniel, is the seeding there. Montesano, with that district title win in softball, ended up being the 1 seed going into the state tournament, and Hoquiam will be the 3 seed. We have a nomination for Emmie Spencer for her state record in Keyhole, which beat the previous state record by, was it almost 0.2 of a second, Andrew? Is that right?
It was just over 2
Just over 0.2 of a second, which is incredible. And if we'll try to post the video if we haven't posted it yet.
I posted it to our Facebook.
Okay, so if you want to see the video of what Keyhole looks like, because even for someone who doesn't know horses or equestrian, it's impressive to the point that I watched it and I was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you get the horse to do that?
It's so cool.
And Emmie Spencer's apparently the best at it because she just broke a state record, but all she does is win. DJ Khaled wrote a song about it.
About her.
New song. You probably haven't heard it before.
Yeah. You know, I was going for a joke there. I didn't think you hadn't actually heard it.
He's definitely heard it.
There was a Tebow version of the song,
I didn't
Justin.
think he
Do you not
hadn't
remember
heard
the
it.
Tebow version of the song?
I was doing a
He's
thing.
definitely heard it.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
He's lying to you.
No, I knew
You've
it.
now injured him.
Because I jokingly threw out, Daniel, have you ever heard that song that everyone's heard? And he was like, no, I've never heard it.
How do you want me to respond?
Hey, Daniel.
How do you want me to respond to that joke?
Hey, Daniel. Since this is a geography podcast now, can you spell Mississippi?
I get stuck.
Bannan. Oh wait,
Yeah, exactly.
No, really, no, seriously, spell Mississippi.
Wait, for
This is an
serious?
extension of Stump Daniel.
Mississippi.
I can spell Mississippi with one I.
Oh, I've heard this joke before, but I can't remember it.
Mississippi.
See, you would have been a great coach for a mound visit. Remember during our broadcast, I said there was 2 different kinds of coaches. One goes out there and goes, okay, this is how we execute these pitches. Just do your best. Just make your pitches. Trust your defense. It'll be okay. Just, maybe,
trust you.
Really follow through in your release. And then there was my brother and I who would go out there, open up a Laffy Taffy, read the worst dad joke ever.
Yeah.
The kids would all shake their head and think that we were idiots, and then we would take the credit when they struck out the next batter.
For the audio-only audience, I covered my right eye
Yeah.
while I was spelling Mississippi.
no one was impressed.
Yeah. I mean, I told that joke 4 times in my house this week.
Oh, gosh. 4
Did anyone
times?
Well, there's
laugh?
4 other people in my house. I made sure I had them one at a time so I could tell it to them and get their
Dear
organic
Lord.
reactions to it.
You waited until each of them was alone?
Yeah.
Did you corner them in their own
He
room?
didn't want to
No,
get
this-
outnumbered.
No, well, like essentially, I have teenage boys. They spend almost all their time in their room, so it's easy. You wait until they come out to go to the bathroom, and you're standing in the hallway, like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?"
And they're like, no.
Yeah, they say no, but then you just do it anyway.
You're just lurking outside the bathroom?
Yeah, lurking is the exact right word. Yeah. All right, last nominee for this week for Athlete of the Week is Jessie Gilbert.
She's the last nominee?
Yeah, I went through all the other ones already.
Oh, did I miss any that I didn't know about?
No, it was Tigathy Higgins, Riley Timmons, Emmie Spencer.
Gotcha.
And then Jessie the Cyborg Gilbert,
Yeah. She's created by ChatGPT.
who's created by ChatGPT.
What did I say? Did I say GBT?
Who knows anymore? This show's been too long.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jessie, 4 no-hitters or 3 no-hitters, depending on who you ask. I'm running with 4.
There's
66 strikeouts over the course of 4 games. And also 5 for 8 with 3 home runs and a double and a buttload of other stats,
Okay.
while also having the bat taken out of her hands 5 times with walks.
Okay, I'm just going to run through this really quick.
Yeah.
Tigathy Higgins.
Yeah.
7 titles, 6 days, all the qualifiers that a track person can have besides it being state.
Essentially, possibly the greatest single-week track performance we've ever had on this show.
Not being state.
Correct.
Right. Like, that's the only way this could get better.
Yeah.
Riley Timmons.
Yep.
Every escalator you could want
Mm-hmm.
besides it being the state title game.
Right. District title game, rivalry game.
walk-off dinger,
Walk-off.
every last inning, everything you could want.
Yeah.
Emmie Spencer, every escalator you could want, state, breaks a record,
Had a song wrote about her.
everything. Doesn't matter. That's stupid.
It's still just... still Jessie Gilbert.
It's still...
And we will sign off here on the Jessie Gilbert show in a minute. But I do, since we didn't have a show last week, I wanted to briefly...
We have to rename our show.
Yeah,
we're
the
no
Jess-
longer the Scrimmage.
No, we're the
now
Jessie Gilbert show.
We're
Yeah.
the Jessie Gilbert show.
Yep.
Brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and the Ole Penn Real Estate.
I mean, if we changed our name to the Jessie Gilbert show, we'd probably get more sponsors, really. Yeah, people would just know who she is. But we'll move on from Jessie Gilbert for now and then probably talk about her glowingly next week again.
She is our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
Well, she's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't actually said it yet, but that's...
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jessie.
Normally, I would say this is the peak of your career, but I don't want to say that.
She's a sophomore!
She broke us.
I do want to
Broken.
briefly mention last week's Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week because we didn't have a show.
Right.
Aberdeen's Eiley Scott. She got her 100th career hit and had, at this point, this was at the end of the regular season, so there's been more softball since then. But at that point, she had 42 hits this season.
Wow.
She was batting well over 600. I think it was like
Whoa.
it was like 646 or something like that.
Jeez.
She also had 25 stolen bases and 29 runs scored on the season, just getting on base like crazy, stealing bases, scoring runs for Aberdeen. 100 hit. Like, I was trying to put this in perspective, like how big of a deal is 100 hits, and I was like, okay, well, she had an insane number of hits this year, batting over 600, and she had 42 in the regular season. So let's say like a normal good person would have like 20, 25.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd have to do that every year of your high school career to get to 100 hits. And that assumes you play from being a freshman. So 100 hits is a big milestone.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I was trying to look up also to put the stolen bases in perspective. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to say it was in like 18 games of regular
that's
season.
What I was going to... So, the stolen bases record in the major leagues...
Yeah.
Trying so hard to
it's
Google
100
quickly.
something, right?
Don't give me career. I want single season, dang it. 138. That was in 1887, though. That doesn't count.
Caballero stole 3 today.
Nice. Ricky Henderson stole 130 in 1982. But that was in 160 games.
Yeah.
And she has 25?
In
18 games? But 18 games? So that's... dang it, math.
It's a lot of maths, man.
Yeah, that's... Okay, anyway, it's ridiculous.
A little bit fewer games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great season.
We did geography and math today. Congratulations to us.
Math should be left off the radio. Sorry about that.
I agree with you. But no, I mean, like, I was doing the same thing that you were, like trying to put it in perspective and like figure out how big of a deal is 100 hits, and it's a really big deal.
MLB record?
130 in 162 games.
130 and 162.
And we're comparing it with 25 in 18. Oh my gosh, she had more stolen bases than games they played?
Oh yeah, like
the MLB record was 0.8 steals per game, and she had 1.38 steals per game.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a lot.
That's 388, so it's closer to 39.
You know, when you bat over 600, you get a lot of chances on base to steal bases too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Is that going to do it for a show?
I think so. Thank you for joining us on the Jessie Gilbert Show, brought to you by Ole Penn Real Estate and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. My co-host, Daniel Hargrove, over there. I was too broken to come up with a nickname, so I'm just going to go with Daniel Hargrove.
And my co-host, Justin Domashevitz.
Oh.
Along with our producer, Andrew. It's all the wrong and right buttons. Gross.
I don't like the way you looked at me when you said that. You've been listening to The Scrimmage.
I do have an expressive face.
You do. Like Jim Halpert.